Hello, welcome back to the bottom of this beast. Today we're back with Hatsumira from the future undying. So apparently, having finished the chapter 1 introduction has firmly placed me in 21% done with the game. So if I can keep going at the pace I'm going right now, it's probably gonna be like 25 parts when I'm done. Which is long for my usual behavior, you know. Of course, I'm not trying to like dash through this as quickly as possible. I'm just enjoying it a lot, and that is actually kind of a fucking problem. Anyways, I ate too much again. Happens a lot, I know. It's a problem. Either way, that's just... in December 1944, after Japan lost command of the Luzon Island airspace, it was transferred from Clark Airfield to Davao Base on Mindanao. In February 1945, all pilots were ordered back to domestic bases. We needed a transport that could take 25 of us back to Japan at a time. We had to salvage parts from broken Hamaki bombers to even get something resembling a plane. I was scheduled to board that flight as well, but I just couldn't bear the thought of leaving the maintenance crew behind while we all went home. So I decided to stay on base and give my spot to somebody else. As I watched the plane barreling down the runway before takeoff, I was hit by a wave of regret and guilt. That I'd given up on my one chance to go home, there might not be another. I was brought back to my senses by a loud crash. Maybe the weight of the 25 people was just too much for the cobbled-together old tamaki to carry. It looked like a stone almost as soon as it hit off the ground, plummeting back down and exploding on impact. That was the reason the hamaki had a reputation for being made of paper. It was completely consumed by the blaze in seconds. The remaining ground crew and I rushed over to the wreck to try and extinguish the fire. But we were pushed back by the intense heat. The engine fuel had caught fire, and the fierce blaze was triggering explosions and the mounted machine guns. Through the black curtain of smoke, I could see the charred and blistered hands of my fellow soldiers, desperately clawing at the gunners' windows, but their efforts were futile. The screams died out long before the flames. We stood helplessly as the hamaki burned. Once we could finally clear the twisted steel from the runway, I found the blackened body of the man who had taken my place on board. In war, the one who tried to escape first are always the first ones to die. It's almost as if their comrades, the heroes that passed on before them, can't forgive them for their cowardice. This is meant to be some sort of honest story to scare you off. A horror story to scare you off. It's meant to prepare you for what you're in for. Listen. When you fought until you have no shit left to soil your trousers with, you may feel like it's taps for you. But that's when the real battle begins. Those who are prepared to keep on fighting until the end are ultimately ones that will survive. I've seen too many plunks go for a burden because they lowered their guard as soon as they thought they were safe. For example, one bloke was riddled with bullets during a dogfight and barely managed to splutter back to our airfield. He landed safely, but as soon as his engine died, so did he. If only he'd kept fighting for 10 more minutes, he might have survived.
Ichiro-san, それって結局どういうお話でありますか?
So don't get it? Let me put it in a way that even you green or lizards will understand. When a dodgy belly sends you running to latrines, you let it all out at once, right? It's the same phenomenon.
それならなんとなく理解できるであります。いや、そうじゃなくて、心構えの話だろ。要は、皆が弱気になっている時こそ、心強くあれと。そういうお話ですよね、一郎さん。
Bravo! As long as you believe that you can keep going, then you can. My experience, the soldiers who survive the longest are the ones who don't start belly aching as soon as things get tough. Maybe nothing but grunts right now, but one day you might find yourself in charge of your own squadron. As a leader, you must never voice any of your uncertainties. Your subordinates will worship you like a god, so you must live up to their expectations. Never give up, and answer all their questions without hesitation.
質問であります。
What is it?
もし本当に知らんことを部下に質問されたときは、どう答えればよいのでありますか?
In that case, you go affirm nod to the adjutant standing beside you and look them straight in the eye and order them to explain on your behalf. It's the adjutant's job to pick up on the signals you're sending and to explain away the issue at hand.
そんなことでよいのでありますか? 楽でありますな。
いや、つまりは理想を口にするのが司令官の務めで、その理想を噛み砕いて現実に寄せ兵に説明するのが副官の務めと、そういうことでありましょうや。
A fast learner, aren't you? Being quick on the uptake is another trait of real survivors.
あ、自分は士官志望であります。経験をもとにしたイチローさんのお話は大変興味深く勉強になります。
そっか。時々わけわかんない単語が出てくるし、難しい例え話も多いでありますよ。それより自分はこの前の雪風様のおっぱいの話をもう一回聞きたいであります。
Again, you're obsessed with her, aren't you?
いや、待て。それは何の話だ。自分。
よーし、そこまで。本日の教練はこれにて終了とする。
Ah, seem that we're out of time. Roll up your flaps. Today's session is over.
あ、本日のご指導ありがとうございました。
三森一郎はいるか?
Yes, Present, what's wrong? You're looking more frazzled than usual.
一郎、貴様には少し話がある。教官宿舎まで来い。
Roger that. There are several reasons why Matt has summoned me, but this time I feel certain of exactly what this is about. Probably approves of my instruction methods. From my perspective, I'm just trying to find a better way to explain the faulty method of the top brass to the boots on the ground. When it looks like we're the only squad running through our drills and then wasting all the extra time standing around flapping our gums, I can understand why he's not amused, especially while the other squads are hard at work.
いいか、一郎よ。我がバラウールは軍隊の体を成しているとはいえ、所詮は民兵の集まりだ。実戦経験者の数が圧倒的に足りない中、経験者としての貴様の指導には感謝もしよう。だがな、指導にもやり方というものがある。貴様はなぜ教本を無視して指導をする?
Because teaching for a textbook sounds like a bloody good way to waste time. You don't need combat experience to teach those pre-devised lessons, and the only thing it will result in is good grades on the written exam. In battle, the guys who flew their planes by the book, were always the first blokes to get shot down. Book mentions that side-slipping should be prevented at all costs, but in battle it's an essential surviving skill.
だが基礎あっての応用だ。すべての兵が我流で開眼するわけでもあるまい。
I thought we didn't have enough time and resources to educate them properly, precisely because we're a militia, not a proper army. When my army got the newest batch of crows, we had the instructors show us examples once or twice, then yell at us to do it like this, maggots. So if you didn't want to die, you had to learn on your own and imitate him to the best of your ability.
貴様の言うことは理解しよう。だがそれでは兵に重要な教示と作法は身につかんではないか。
Isn't that exactly the kind of thing they'll never learn from the dusty pages of a textbook?
その通り。それは良い上官の姿に学ぶものである。ここであえて問う。貴様は誰に恥じるでもなく、自分は良い上官であると誇って胸を張れるのか?
Absolutely. You'll see when you send my squad into the field. Why don't we bet on it? Whose squad will take out more enemies and have the most survivors, yours or mine?
兵の命を賭けの対象にするなど不謹慎極まる所業。神の子たるアーク寺院の眷属を何と心得るか。そもそも貴様の教えは粗雑に過ぎる。型破りのつもりか知らんが、貴様の教えを受けた兵は卑怯になり、騎士の礼に欠く。
Well, your teaching methods are all a load of bollocks to me. You're just teaching them how to respond to textbook scenarios, but you're not playing but we're not playing cat's cradle here. Your so-called class and chivalry make me sick.
通じんやつめ。貴様のような男に指導を任せたのが間違いであったわ。たった今から貴様は指導員から外す。貴様の指導を受けた兵には基礎からやり直させ、もう一度騎士道の何たるかを学ばせる。
What good will your chivalry do when we're fighting an army of zombies or trying to tear our bellies out? They're no different from troops high on pilot salt. They have no free will and they feel no fear. And to try and show them chivalry, it would make a horse laugh.
さま、言わせておけば図に乗り寄って若造が。
So what, you want to turn this schoolboy argy-bargy bullocks into a proper punch-up?
やめんかアホども。外で兵が怖がっておろうが。
姫様が。
何故お前たちは顔を合わせれば喧嘩を始めるのじゃ。仲良うなったのではないのか。
お言葉ですが姫様。しかしこの者あまりにもぶしつけにて。
Shut up! You're the biggest bonehead I've ever met. You must have eaten bricks as a child. Or else can you explain having such a thick skull? Oi, Guffa, get your mangy claws off my collar. I'll make you into proper lizard kebab.
やめいと言っておろうが。ただでさえ体内がバタバタしておるというのに、貴様らがそんなことでどうするのじゃ。
ですから体内がバタバタし秩序に欠ける原因たるこやつを。
そういうことではない。お前にも心当たりがあろう。犬。
What do you mean?
一郎、貴様から犬族を見て何か違和感は感じなかったのか。
Not in particular.
やはりどうしても過去の確執というものは簡単には拭いきれんようじゃ。条約上我が軍勢に加わりはするものの、我々の指示は受けんという態度じゃ。
It looks like they're taking their training seriously, though. They seem determined to prove that they're just as strong and worthy as lizards.
しかしの、我が軍を一つの組織とした場合、この仲違いはどうにかせねばなるまいよ。
ですが竜族の側から仲良くせよと申したところで連中は耳も傾けませぬ。この件に関しては私もどうしたものかと。
Maybe the problem lies with the fact that you're ordering them around. Surely they'll listen if you kindly request their cooperation instead.
それでは犬族をつけ上がらせる結果になるであろうが。
And stop thinking in terms of rank, bonehead.
なんだと。
やめんか。
Click a tongue at me. I know what you're thinking.
何にせよ難しい問題よな。
Just leave them alone. In my experience, inter-service rivalries are incredibly common. It got so bad that the Army and the Navy bought 2 separate licenses to mass-produce the very same foreign-designed weapon. Isn't that funny? But when they actually get together, it turns out that they're perfectly capable of working with each other.
我々竜族とてちゃんと犬族を尊重しておるじゃろうが。
Machisupi. I think you hit the nail on the head there.
何がじゃ。
Never mind. Forget I said anything. Stop stepping on my foot, you manky lizard. You're heavy, you know.
なあよい。この問題はいずれ何とでもするとしよう。時に一郎よ。今日の家業はもう終わりじゃな。
Yeah, we finished up just a little while ago.
ならば、町に飯を食いに行くぞ。
If we're hungry, the slop jock is at the mess tent can scrape up some scran for you. There's no need for us to go out.
そうは言ってもの。普段の砂漠の供給線が断たれて以来、食堂で出る飯は貧しくなる一方であろう。これは日頃の慰労の意味もあるのじゃ。美しい夜景でも見ながら、ヌーミンなんぞをもりもりと頬張って、うまい酒でも飲んではどうじゃ。
Whoops.
明日は連休日じゃし。のう。
Showing your gratitude is important, and I must agree that it does sound like a nice idea.
じゃろ
Am I safe to assume that'll be a treat?
無論じゃ。好きなものを好きなだけ食らうがいい。
Alright, I'm in.
私はただ、久しぶりにヌーミンを腹いっぱい食べたかっただけなのじゃ。どうせ街に出るのならば、未だこの世界に不慣れであろう一郎を連れ、うまいものを腹いっぱい食わせてやろうと思った。ただそれだけのことだったのじゃ。口を開けば、国に帰るとばかり言い出す一郎に、この世界もそんなに悪いものではないぞと理解してほしかったのじゃ。そしてできることならば、未だに私を、おい、トカゲと呼ぶ一郎に、ありがとう、雪風。ところがじゃ。
乾杯！
何故こんなことになったのじゃ？
Well, weren't you the one who said we wanted to reward us for our services?
そうではない、そうではなくてじゃな。なぜ伝わらぬ？一体何をおるのじゃ。
I would have loved to bring our whole troop, but I only managed to gather. I would have loved to bring all our troops, but I only managed to gather about 30, both dragons and dogs.
な、一郎。こんなことを言うのもあれじゃが、私はお前と二人きりで飯を食うつもりでおったのじゃが。
I know. But just imagine what would happen to me if you started playing favorites. If the other soldiers got word that you invited me out for scran and booze, just two of us, it would be incredibly awkward for me to keep working with them.
秘密にしておけばよいだけのことではないか。
You just said and done. Plus, I thought this could be a good opportunity.
何がじゃ。
There's a reason why I invited both lizard and dogs. A beer call like this is the perfect chance to break the ice between them, don't you think?
余計な真似をしてくれる。
Hey, old Blueface, I'm glad to see you decide to come as well.
こ
Come
の
after
よう
all.
な場、荒れるに決まっておるだろう。そんな場に姫様を単身向かわせるわけにもゆくまい。
The princess gonna get annoyed with you if you keep being so overprotective?
なんとでも言え。周りを見てみろ。
Huh?
当然のごとく、竜族と犬族で席が分かれておる。酒の席とてこの二つの種族が席を交えることはない。
I see, the lizards are paying absolutely no heed to the presence of the dogs. They're too focused on draining the barrels of bold sunshine, smashing their goblets on the ground. Is that lizard custom or something? Do you always toast that way?
あれは竜族というよりも、竜族の兵士が士気を鼓舞するためにやる行為だ。軍の伝統と言ってもいいだろう。
一方で、犬族は犬族で、ヌーミンの肉を片っ端から食い散らかしておるの。酒も無遠慮にガブガブ飲んでおる。
これでは別々に飲み食いしておるのと変わらん。慰労を兼ねた懇親会というには溝が深すぎよ。
それはそれで構わんのじゃが、喧嘩にならぬとよいの。
それは無理な相談にございましょう。
うるせえな。さっきからガッシャンガッシャンうるせえんだよ。ちった静かに舐めねえのかよ、トカゲ。なんだと？これは竜族の軍に伝わる伝統作法だ。貴様ら犬族こそ、その下品な食い散らかしようは何だ？
早速始まりましたな。
見ておらんで止めんか。
御意。
It's fine, old boy, just let him be.
しかし、姫様の御前なるぞ。
That's right, and if you keep on using your princess as a shield like the coward you are, you'll only deepen the dog's disdain.
しかし、
It's better to let them settle the score here. I'm sure both sides have things they need to get off their chests. You can't expect them to fight alongside men whom they can't even speak frankly with. The argument turns into a fight, that's perfect. Fist fights are the quickest and easiest way to sort out your differences. Let them take it all out on each other.
乱暴なやり口だ。
If you have any better ideas, I'd love to hear them.
殴って理解させるばかりが軍隊ではない。が、それが一番早くて深いのもまた事実。貴様が面倒を見るというのであれば、手並みを拝見しよう。
面白い。では勝った方には、喧嘩番長の称号とともに勲章をやろう。
Brawl Star!
姫様のお許しが出たようだ。では御前試合として私が代表いたしましょう。
その方、名は
アライン・フレイムス上等兵であります。
わあ、 フレイムス家のものか。シェザー伯爵のお体の様子はどうじゃ？
はい。おかげさまで祖父は元気にしております。
そうか。では存分に戦うがいい。
はっ。というわけだ、犬族の将軍。誰でもいい。かかってきたまえ。
しらけたぜ。何が御前試合だ。そっちのお姫様を楽しませるために軍勢に加わったわけじゃねえぞ。
どうした？かかってこないのかね？
やってらんねえって言ってんだろ。俺たちは状況を読む。こんな状況で勝っても俺たちが悪者になるだけだ。
どうやら喧嘩にはなりそうもないですな。
それはそれで少し残念じゃが、これ以上争いが起きるのもごめんじゃ。これで。
臆したか。つまらん言い訳をして殴り合いもできんとは。所詮は負け犬というわけだな。
Wait, what was that, Wonka?
は？
I heard you chirping about having a backbone, didn't you, mate?
喧嘩もできぬ犬に臆した以外のどんな言葉がありますか？
Alright, how about I take you on then? Come on, hit me with your best shot, Reno, and let's see if you're mostly bollocks or all bollocks.
意味がわかりませんね。酔っておられるのですか？どうして犬族でもないあなたが。
Better stop underestimating my mates like that. That cheeky attitude of yours is browning me off. You've got your snout so high in the air, I'm surprised you don't trip over your tail.
おい、一郎？やめんかお前。何をする気じゃん。
I don't know what kind of supposedly noble family you're from, but these dogs you keep sneering at are valuable allies who offered to come to your princess's aid.
だからなんだとおっしゃるのです。
If you can't respect your allies, then you won't get any respect from me. Back when I was a kid, most of my mates couldn't even read and write, but they never betrayed me. They always had my back when I needed them. The dog tribe's just like them. If you disrespect the dog, you're disrespecting me. We are sworn comrades. Can't forgive you for this insolence.
許さなかったらどうだって言うんです。
I don't like fighting somebody else's fight, but I just have to teach you a lesson.
間違い？何が間違いだというのです。事実。こんな状況になっても立ち上がる犬族は一匹もいないではありませんか。
So you still don't understand. I guess you've still got some I've still got some teaching to do.
こら！やめんか一郎！
無駄です、姫様。こうなってしまえば、もう一郎は誰の言葉にも耳を貸しません。
ま、いいでしょう。そこまでおっしゃられるのであれば、私もあなたの勘違いを改めて差し上げましょう。さあ、始めましょう。
Take this!
いきなりか！
試合の前に拳を合わせようとした相手の顔面に膝蹴りとは。卑怯な。
Fair, there's no rule and a punch up your knucklehead. Damn stuck-up no-good lizard! Your biggest mistake was when you tried to pick a fight with me, know your place!
もうやめんか一郎！相手はもう気を失っておる！
Huh? Don't go pass it up before you learn your lesson now! I'm gonna turn your tail into sashimi!
やめろ、一郎。尻尾はトカゲ族の誇りぞ。それを引きちぎられるは竜族最大の屈辱。くそ！それだけはさせるな！全員であいつを止めろ！かかれ！
So you're my next opponent!
一郎、なんという目じゃ。それは悪鬼の目つきぞ。
He's just like over, like still beating the guy on the ground. The other's like, we need to help him! Yo, you wanna go too? No.
あれは戦場で死に慣れ親しんだ、いつでも死ねる覚悟を持った男の目ですな。
ひるむな！相手は一人だぞ！
やめておけ。この数で一斉に襲いかかれば一郎も手加減はすまい。殺されても知らんぞ。
Even Lin Shi's just over here like, guys, you don't wanna do this.
どうしてもというものがあらば、私もこれ以上の無粋は言わん。 存分にやれ。貴様の実家にはご子息は勇気ある戦死を遂げられたとお悔やみの手紙をしたためてやる。
一郎さん、あんた竜族を敵に回すつもりっすか？
I'll take on the entire world if I have to. Those who stand in my way will get caught in crossfire.
ヒポだけはやめて。
Nope, I'm having that tail. Maybe I'll spit roast it. Get it all nice and crispy to feed it to the
相
dogs.
変わらずむちゃくちゃじゃの。仲良せんか。
These scales for brains don't look like they want to get along with me.
しまふ、仲良くしまふ。ごめんなさい。
こやつも反省しておる。許してやってくれぬか。
Alright, taxi up, lads!
もう許してやれというに、どこへ連れて行く気じゃ。
To the dogs' table, we're having another toast! Cannot fight side by side when we look down on each other. That's why we're all going to speak our minds and get rid of any misunderstandings. Right here, right now!
また喧嘩になるじゃろうが。
If that happens, I'll personally teach the perpetrator another lesson, lizard or dog. When tensions get high among the troops, it's the officer's job to solve the problem with their fists. Isn't that right, old fella?
確かにな。下士官は軍の兄とはよく言ったものだ。
Kids learn how to control their strength through polite fighting with their siblings. Stopping fights is a parent's job. The older brother just looks on and smiles warmly at the whole thing.
なるほどの。しかし、可愛い弟の顔面にいきなり膝蹴りを叩き込んだ兄貴が見守っているとは言わんじゃろ。
Kids will never learn to respect their big brother if he does nothing but watch. Every family needs somebody intimidating to keep the balance. I've been on the receiving end of plenty of such brotherly love myself in the Navy.
短期の言い訳にしか聞こえんぞ。
So what you want? This is how I've been taught to deal with rowdy soldiers. Anyways, let's drink. Come over. I'll introduce you to the dogs.
はい。
やり方は無茶苦茶だが、一郎は最初からこの結果を狙って兵をこの場に集めたのか？
Absolutely not.
そこまで考えていたわけでもないでしょうが、喧嘩になれば自分が飛び出すことぐらいは考えておったのでしょうな。立場上、私が一郎と同じ真似をすれば、犬族に対して一方的な恨みを買う結果になったでしょうし、私にできぬことをしてくれているのだと思えば、得難き人材ではありますが。
私もつくづく面白い男を拾ったものじゃの。
確かに男の兵を相手にするのであれば、ああいったやり方も正しいのでありましょうが。
そうじゃな。皮肉なことに我が軍勢は正規軍とは違い、女の方が多いからの。あのように拳で語り合うにも限度があるじゃろうしな。
いえ、まあそればかりが問題ではなくと申しますか。一郎よ、貴様はまだ女が多い部隊での身の振り方を分かっておらんようだな。
ん？なんじゃ？
いえ、いずれあやつもその難しさと申しますか、面倒くささを嫌というほど理解する時が来るでしょう。
ん？何の話じゃ？
私にできぬことを一郎がしてくれるのであれば、これ以上楽なことはないというお話です。
そうなると良いな。
良い。
Hey, what are you two whispering about all hush hush over there? Without these dragons and dogs, we'll be able to forge meaningful bonds with your Ruperts tucked away in a corner. Go on, get over here!
よし、いいだろう。酒と肉を追加じゃ。
As night crept on, the two tribes finally stopped butting heads and instead linked arms, merrily singing and dancing. The meat and drinks flowed until well after the hazy beams of morning sun washed over the town. It would still be a while longer until they learned of the troubles that Lin Xin was having with his female squads. Let's start outskirts Barul base. The Zero fighter was flying when I crashed into this world. Was found in the desert 6 days ago. It had been almost completely swallowed by the sands. It took 3 days to dig it up and transport it to the Barul's research facility. Nago insisted on overseeing the operations in person, her eyes glittering like those of a child with a new toy. As soon as we returned, she immediately grabbed a wench and started tinkering with it.
だから強度の問題で厚さが倍必要になるって何度も説明したじゃないっすか。こっちはちゃんと発注通りにやってますよ。だいたいこんな見たこともないものどうやって壊さずに解体しろって言うんです？見たこともないものだから慎重にって話っす。ものを見てどこをどうすればどうなるかってちゃんと考えて作業しろって言ってんすよ。
Nago, looks like you're hard at work.
イチローさん待ってたんすよ。もう私らだけじゃちんぷんかんぷんで。
Don't be too harsh on your mechanics now. This is their first time seeing a plane, much less touching one. Makes sense that they're going to be apprehensive about it.
わかっちゃいるんすけどね。こんなお宝を目の前にしちゃうと、どうしても興奮しちゃって、寝ようと思っても気になってすぐに目が覚めちゃうんすよ。
How many days have you been awake?
昨日は少しだけ寝たんで、まだいけるっすよ。やりたいことや調べたいことがまだまだいっぱいあるっす。
Someone's gonna come and take the plane away from you, and it's not gonna fly away by itself. There's no need to rush.
広告に発見される前に回収できて本当によかったっすよ。砂に埋まっててくれたおかげで発見が遅れたっすけど、そのおかげで誰にも取られなかったっす。
I highly doubt anyone would have bothered digging it out. Nobody in this world has any clue what it does. Or what it even is, for that matter.
それが何かは関係ないんすよ。ドムトレット砂漠には古代の遺跡があって、過去の大戦で使われたマジーの遺産ともいえる謎の機械が埋まってることが多いっす。そういうのを掘り起こしては売ったりして生活してる連中は多いですし、最近では広告の軍も大部隊を投入してマジーの残した過去の遺産を掘り起こしてるって話っす。敵に見つからなくてほんとよかったっすよ。
McGee's legacy, huh?
600年前の大戦が起きる前は、ドムトレットは水多く緑豊かな大都市だったっす。それが、たった一晩、たった一撃で街はすべて灰になって、人々はその影だけを残して蒸発したっす。
People evaporated?
マジーはドムトレットの街に小型の太陽を落としたって伝承に残されてるっす。
Is that even possible?
そうっす。伝承によると、大きさは 2.820B。イチローさんの単位に直すと、約 5.132 ミリですかね。
So he dropped a miniature sun there. The other miniature sun instance on the mountain says that it disfigured the animals there, and they're saying that, and we previously heard that the dust of the Dumplet desert is poisonous. There are 100% nukes. The enemy still has the capability of launching such a devastating weapon. We don't have a chance in hell.
まあ、それを作ったマジー本人は、大賢者の怒りに触れて強制送還になりましたし、当時の技術はその大半が戦災で消失したんで、新しく作られることはないと思うんすけど、広告はまだマジーの太陽を所有していると公言してるんすよね。
To use that kind of weapon on a city again, I wouldn't call it a war. It's more like it's nothing more than a slaughter.
でもまあ、所詮はハッタリというか、確認のしようのない脅威を盾として隣国を威嚇しているだけだとは思うんすけどね。
So that's why the other countries can't deploy their official armies. See, it's definitely not worth the risk to their citizens.
けど、好きにさせておくつもりはないっす。
そのためのバラウールスよ。私だってここへ仲良しキャンプをしに来たわけじゃないっす。
Really? It looks like you're having plenty of fun playing with your new toy.
失敬っすね。こう見えていろいろ頑張ってるっすよ。航空機を調べるには分解するしかない。分解するにしても元に戻せるように分解しなければならない。そのためにまずは分解するための道具を作るところから始めてるっす。発動機や機銃はもちろん、分解できるところは全部分解して調べるつもりっす。
Just be careful with that, okay? Do you think you'll be able to get it in flying condition again?
どうやって飛んでいるのかも分かってないんで、直しようもないんすよね。とりあえず、壊さないように分解してはいるっすけど、何せ手探り状態っすからね。また飛べるようになるにはかなり時間がかかると思うっす。
That plane is property of my emperor. I'm just borrowing it for now. It's my duty to return it to my country once this warrior is over, so I'm counting on you, Nago.
お任せっすよ。それにしても、すごい技術の塊っすね、これ。翼の骨格に使われてる金属の錬成技術が半端ないっす。木材より軽いのに軽石より丈夫っす。
The textbook said that it's an alloy of aluminium, zinc, magnesium, and copper.
亜鉛や銅は自国の鉱山で採掘できるっすけど、アルミとマグネシウムはごく少量しか採掘できないっすね。同じものを作ろうと思ったら、金属資源が豊富な鉱山を見つけないと。
Sounds rather time consuming.
その代わりってわけじゃないっすけど、一郎さんからお借りした刀の研究は進んでるっすよ。あれもあれですごい技術っす。あれだけ硬い金属を作る技術は、この世界ではまだ確立してないっす。超強度のある金属、それに超軽い金属が作れるようになれば、いろいろなものが小型化できるっすよ。例えばそう、一郎さんがおひいさまに献上した腕時計みたいな小型で精密な機械も量産可能だし、竜兵が使っている剣ももっと軽くて折れにくいものが作れるっす。
Oh, you mean like that ridiculously huge sword that old Lin Xin is using? Doesn't seem like a club you'd use to bludgeon your enemies into submission. It does seem more like a club you'd use to bludgeon your enemies into submission with.
強度の高い材料で同じ武器を作れば、これまでは力任せに叩き割るようにしていた無視戦車の外骨格もより安易に破壊できるようになるっす。体験はもちろんのこと、レイピアに関しても新素材で作れば護身用のお飾り以上の性能が出るっす。そうすれば、体験を振るうことが困難だった者たちも武器を手にすることができるっす。
So you're looking to improve your melee weapons?
そうっす。それに、航空機についてる機銃。あれはいいっす。戦争の道具として理想っす。あれを
Deliciously
量産で
violent.
きれば、全面の突撃力において、広告の鉄砲隊に引けを取らなくなるどころか、勝ることができる上に、後方からの分隊支援という新しい戦略が組めるようになるっす。
Mastering open combat is crucial if you want to win a battle. I was quite surprised when I observed your supposed tactical training the other day. When the commander gave the order to charge, the soldiers immediately barreled towards the target en masse, screaming like feral beasts during the entire maneuver. It was like watching children play fight, not a crumb of strategy to be seen.
機銃が量産されれば、そういった戦闘も過去のものとなるわけっすよ。
You really think it's possible to mass produce something like that?
完成品が手元にある以上は、それを複製するだけだし、実際もう試作は始めてるっすよ。自動の球団機構が複雑で、素材強度や熱の問題もあって複製しきれてはいないっすけど、単発の手動装填であれば作れそうっす。
Like a bolt-action rifle, I see. If we're making guns, then we're gonna need a shed load of ammo as well. Do you have any plans to mass-produce bullets?
それなんすけど、量産となるとちょっと難しいっすね。少数生産であれば手作業で細かい加工もできるっすけど、大量生産ともなればそれなりに工数の減産をした上で性能の均一化をしなければいけないっすから。
Numbers mean everything in war. A large amount of primitive weapons is better than a small amount of highly refined ones.
やっぱそうっすよね。そもそも大量生産するための燃料や鉱物資源を採掘する体制が整っていないのが一番の課題っす。
That's the same problem we had in my world. After all, there's only so much metal you can gather by melting down gates and pans.
一応、鉱山の件に関しては、おひいさまに相談はしてるっすけど、今日明日ですぐにとはいかないみたいっす。
We wanted to prioritize our raw resources. If we can make rifles standard issue for our infantry, we can form them into combat recon units. They'd be faster than heavy infantry, yet more deadly than normal scouts. Valuable addition to any army.
なるほど。偵察両兵なら一番数の多い偵察兵から容易に転化できるっすからね。
In my world, every army has troops specialized for such duties. Even unofficial ones such as guerrilla forces or resistance movements have them.
一郎さんは異世界から来た戦争民族だけあって、戦争が上手っすね。
Warrior race. Right that there have been many wars in my world, but it's not as if warmongering runs in our blood. Besides, it's not my strategies that are good. It's your strategies that are rubbish. You seem to be trying to solve everything with brute force, not even considering the fact that you can fight more efficiently and effectively and efficiently by taking advantage of the enemy's weakness, for example.
戦争慣れしてないって意味ではその通りっすね。私たちの世界はかなり早い段階で宗教が統一されたんで、小さな種族間の争いとかはあったっすけど、大きな戦争は600年前のあれっきりっすから。
How will we explain why your weapons are so primitive and your wars look like seagulls fighting over a crust of bread? I happen to notice that while you do have primitive guns and cannons, none of them have any rifling in the barrels. All your firearms are smoothbore. The utter lack of refinement just goes to show how peaceful your world must have been until recently.
でも、一郎さんが加わったことで、この世界の戦局は一変するっす。
Won't be so sure about that. You've already seen everything I brought to this world just by playing my katana.
それは違うっすね。
What do you mean?
こちらが新しい武器を使い始めたところで、優位に立てるのはわずかな期間だけっす。私たちが広告の使う武器を見て同じようなものを作るのと同じで、私たちの武器もいずれは広告に複製されてしまえば、生産力の差でまた戦況はひっくり返されてしまうっすよ。
In that case, I haven't given you much of an advantage, have I?
わかってないっすね。戦争に大切なものは、航空機でも軍刀でもなく、全部一郎さんの頭の中にあるんすよ。一郎さんが元の世界で学んできた戦争の歴史。その戦いの中で得た知識は、そう簡単に真似できるもんじゃないっす。
But he's always screaming around about it, so they'll fucking hear at some point. I see. The history of warfare is a history of shame. It's absolutely not something to be proud of. Only idiots boast about how bloody their past was. One might wonder why we leave behind records of our wars when those battles are an embarrassment of the human race. There is a lesson to be learned from them. Deserve the reminder not to repeat the same mistakes. I can hardly believe such a bloody history would be so valuable. One of my superiors once jokes. What the midwife, a monk, and a soldier have in common? They're now out of work. Only now do I fully realize the bitter truth of his words. On a starred outskirts of Baraul.
申し訳ありません、姫様。カップを。
バカ者！そのカップは姫様の大切。
申し訳ありません。申し訳ありません。
まあ、よい。形のあるものはいつかは壊れるものじゃ。ここは良いから、新しいカップで茶を立て直してまいれ。
申し訳ありません。
良いと申しておろう。はようせんと、隣心がうるさいぞ。
はい。ただいま、新しいお茶をお持ちいたします。
姫様、よろしいのですか？そのカップは刹那様の思い出の品では。
Princess Setsuna? Wasn't Setsuna at the start with the Whistler guy? Oh no. That doesn't bode well.
刹那か。そんな妹もおったの。
今頃はどこで何をしておいでなのやら。
Working with the enemy.
もうとっくに死んでおるやもしれんの。
姫様。
わかっておるわ。しかしな、刹那と共に城を出た母上は殺されたのじゃぞ。それがどうして刹那だけは生きておると思える。
ですが。
生きておるのなら、なぜ連絡の一つもよこさぬ。あれが城を出てからもう7年が経つ。生きていると考える方が無理じゃ。
たったお一人の妹君にあられますぞ。そのような悲観的なことでどうされますか。
もう7年ぞ。いい加減に心配しあいたわ。妹など、最初からオラなんだと思うた方がマシじゃ。もともと、あまり出来の良い妹ではなかったしの。あやつのことは、とうの昔に諦めたわ。
あんなにも刹那様を可愛がっておられましたというのに。
もう余計なことを申して、つまらぬことを思い出させるな。刹那の話など聞きとうないわ。お前はもう出て行け。
いた。何も蹴らずともよろしかろう。
やかましい。そんなに刹那が可愛くば、私のそばなどにおらず、刹那を探しに行けばよかろう。とっとと出て行け。
姫様。
出て行けというに。
参った。うかつにも逆鱗に触れたようだ。これはしばらく様子を見ねばならな。一雨来なければよいのだが。
An extract from Erkadat Days once told me. There are two types of pilots in this world. Prodigies and everymen. Prodigies are born with innate talents, but everymen are not. Those with natural talent are able to get the hang of it much faster than others. As soon as they get their hands on the stick, they know what to do. However, everything a prodigy can do, and every man can do too. It just requires more time and training for them to learn it. But if you still can't get the hang of things, even after devoting yourself to your training like a madman, then it's clear that you're doing something wrong. It means that you're not training in the right way.
そのために一郎殿のような教官がいるのでありましょう。
That's right, Arai. An instructor will teach you how to train in the areas you want to improve on. True knowledge is something that can only be obtained through experience. The body has to become accustomed to it over time. As you gain more experience, you will eventually have a breakthrough when you suddenly realize that you actually understand whatever it is you're working on. That, lads, is called a eureka moment. Prodigy experiences this phenomenon right away. But for every man, it takes a lot of hard work to reach it. It may feel like a waste of time when other people seem to zoom ahead of you. But time and effort is exactly what makes an everyman's eureka moment more. And I can't see
どういうことでありますか？何事においてもいち早く極意に気づいた方が良いに決まってるじゃないですか。
It's cut off. Prodigies have one big weakness. They may be quick learners, but that means they've rarely been forced to question their own skills. Once they believe they've mastered something, they don't feel the need to try any other methods, which limits their thinking. However, somebody who has failed over and over will always question themselves in their frustration. Those experiences teach them that there isn't always just one correct answer. They learn to adapt their skills to different situations. Prodigies may give up when they feel something is outside of their expertise, but every men have figured out ways to deal with each and every situation thrown at them. That's why in combat, the everyway men are the ones who tend to survive.
しかし、時間をかけることが許される状況ばかりではないのではありませんか。
I admit that's a problem right now. If you rush into battle without having found any answers yet, the slightest moment of hesitation can mean that it's taps for you.
ダメじゃないですか、それじゃ。
That's why I'm taking the time to teach you right now. The policy is as follows. If you can't figure something out on your own, I won't just hand you the answers on a silver platter. Once you think you've got things figured out, I'll point out your errors. That's kind of training that produces tough, resilient soldiers. Listen up. There's no need to win immediately as long as you don't lose. If you lose, you die. But if you survive, you will have the time to think about what you're lacking. Then you can apply the lessons you've learned in your next fight. That's the process that most top soldiers have been through, regardless of whether they fight on land, at sea, or in the air.
なるほど。教える側も決して楽ではないというわけでありますな。
Do you now get why it may look like I'm bullying you sometimes, even though you're the one with the best record here?
例の酒場での件は関係ないということは理解いたしました。
Compared to Zonta, whose grades are currently rock bottom.
はい。
The reason I keep calling you a worthless maggot isn't because I've got a personal gripe with you. It's because I'm turning you into a full-fledged soldier.
教官殿がそう言ってくれるのは大変恐縮ではありますが、軍がそれを許すかどうかはまた別問題であります。
Don't worry, your team's only as strong as its weakest man. You're a valuable member of our forces, and I know that you will one day be a model soldier whom everybody respects.
本当でありますか?
Of course, why else would an army, one that's turned tens of thousands of snot-nosed kids into real soldiers before you, accept complete bonehead into their ranks?
間抜けはあんまりであります。
Maybe you're more suited to be in a sniper team instead of an assault squadron. In my country, soldiers like that were called fatso snipers. Right, Joe.
そのようですね。
First time seeing rain in this world. No. I'm not sure what's considered normal here, though. Is rain a common weather phenomenon?
そうですね。年に数回起きる程度の現象でありますが、こういった天気を我々は王族の涙と呼びます。
What does that mean?
アーク寺院に伝わる古い伝説では、初代国王が崩御された折、残された王妃は深い悲しみにとらわれながらも、国民の前ではただ一粒の涙も流さなかったそうです。そしてそんな王妃の悲しみが晴天の空を何日も雨で泣かせたという話であります。
Oh, is that even possible?
科学的な根拠は解明されておりませんが、王族の没日などに天気雨が降る確率が高いのは事実であります。
案外雪風様あたりが泣いておられるのかもしれませんね。
Does she ever cry?
確かに姫様は気丈なお方でありますが、ああいうお方こそその実涙もろかったりするのですよ。
I thought the day would come that you would teach me something, Zonta.
いやマジでありますよ。自分はこう見えても故郷では女にモテモテで。
Alright, I believe you. All the more reason for you to bowen up a little. You don't want to make all those women cry, right?
ちえ、またこのパターンでありますか。
If I told you to fight for your country or for the government or whatever, it wouldn't give you any motivation whatsoever, would it? In that case, you simply fight for the women who matter to you.
確かに自分にはそれが一番単純で分かりやすくはありますが、騎士道においては志が不純な気がするであります。
Code, honor means jack shit on the battlefield, you idiot. It's better to have a simple motive. The less weight there's on your shoulder, the more agile you are.
それはそれで羨ましくもありますな。
Alright, that's it for today's training. Go hit the charge, you useless lizards!
あ、本日のご指導ありがとうございました。
The basic principles behind the military are the same in any country. I can tell by looking at the new recruits. Their motives are clearly written on their faces. For the country, for the people, and so on. Back in the day, I must have had a similar look about me. Thinking back to those days strengthens my resolve to ensure that all these lads survive. Anyways, this world tears thing. We usually presume that they're just a result of a meteorological phenomenon happening to coincide with a national day of mourning. Then again, this is a world where people transform into giant fire-breathing lizards. This sort of thing might well be an everyday occurrence in this world. It may be foolish to judge anything by the values that dominate the thought patterns of my world. However, I still lack the experience I need in order to know what exactly is considered common sense in this world. Ichiro Mimori reporting. Today's lessons are over.
苦労であった。
Plan to conduct more detailed aptitude tests next week, but we don't have enough guns. Can I put in a request for more equipment?
機材が足りんのはどこの藩も同じだ。姫様に報告しておけば、いずれ他藩の返納機材が回されてくるであろう。
Second hand is the best we can get. Training new recruits is crucial that they get to work with new equipment that still works as it should, though.
わかっておる。いずれ何とかしようと姫様も申しておられる。今は辛抱せよ。
You don't have much time to sit still and bear with it. I'll go and make my request of the presence as a person, where is she?
姫様は、今は近寄らぬ方が良いだろう。そっとしておけ。
What's wrong with her? Can you explain it more clearly?
いや、大したことではないのだがな。姫様が大事にしておられたティーカップが割れてな。
All this fuss over a broken teacup?
貴様に何がわかる？あれは雪風様の妹君でやらせられる刹那様との思い出の品ぞ。
This may be a stupid question, but don't tell me the rain shower earlier today is related to this incident.
いかにも、この度の王族の涙は姫様の深い悲しみがもたらしたものに相違あるまい。
That's ridiculous.
そう言うな。深い因縁のある話だ。この機会に貴様も知っておくべきかもしれんな。
Spare me the details. Sounds like a bull.
簡単に説明しよう。まあ聞け。先刻名を挙げたように、雪風様には刹那様という妹君がおられた。水筒王家の一粒種として誕生された雪風様の弟君として、今度こそ待望の男児が誕生されると多くの期待が集まる中、不運にも女児として誕生されたのが刹那様だ。そして不運とは重なるものよ。ご誕生なされた刹那様は体が弱く病気がちで、それゆえに周囲の失望もまた大きかった。それでも雪風様は刹那様を大切に思い、日々妹君のために努力を重ね、良き王族であれと模範を示し、仲睦まじくも厳しい姉上であったのだ。ところがだ、その重責ともいえる圧力が刹那様を苦しめたのやもしれん。特別な才覚にも恵まれず、誕生から8つを数えても飛竜として覚醒することもなかった刹那様は、ある日心がくじけてしまったのだ。何かにつけ優秀な雪風様と比較され、城内はもとより学び屋にまで居場所のなかった刹那様だ。時には王族の血統を疑うような口さがない連中も多かったと聞く。己を律し、日々努力を重ねる毎日を送っていた雪風様には、己が無能を嘆くばかりで気概にかけた刹那様の姿が不憫であり、また腹立たしくもあったのだろう。日々泣き暮らすだけの刹那様に対し、厳しくも突き放すかのように接された時期もあり、やがてお二人の間には深い心の溝ができてしまったのだ。そして7年前のこと、王家での暮らしに限界を感じた刹那様は、大賢者の妻となる決意をされた。城を出て二僧として生涯を大賢者に捧げ、神の家で弱き者の相談者となり、寄る辺のない子供たちの良き姉になることを決められたのだ。そして落食の日に、さらなる悲運が刹那様を襲った。刹那様の落食の見届けとして、王妃である初雪様も共に馬車に同乗し、神の家へと向かう途中のことだ。
That's first snow, isn't it?
国境を越え、神の家まであとわずかというところで、お二人のご乗車された馬車が野党に襲われたのだ。護衛の兵はすべて殺され、王妃は領辱の限りを尽くされて亡くなられ、おそらく刹那様は連れ去られたのであろう。その秘宝が城内に伝わってから半月ほど、王族の涙は止むことはなかったという話だ。姫様はいつかは刹那様が戻って来られると未だに信じておられるのだ。刹那様が戻られ、再び茶の席を共にするまで、刹那様の残した品は何も買えぬつもりであったのに、 その思い出のカップが割れてしまったのだ。
Oops. Then you understand. The country has a similar custom. We set an extra place at the table for family members who are no longer with us to remember them by. Do you think she'll feel better eventually if you just leave her alone for now?
時間は要するであろうが、何かきっかけがあればな。
Why are you looking at me? You're just trying to push the thing you don't want to do onto me, aren't you? This is your princess we're talking about.
今は姫様も一軍の長なれば、いつまでも落ち込んでおられても困るのだ。貴様、姫様を慰めてまいれ。
Bring the cheats, you mean?
精神的に支えよと申しておる。
You shouldn't trust me with such delicate tasks. I know only one way to get people to stop being gloomy, and it's by giving them a jolly good kick up the arse.
それで構わん。こういうことは事情をあまり知らぬ者の方が、見かけだけの同情や下手な慰めをせぬ分、いくらかましというものだ。
Babysitting isn't part of an officer's job description.
他の者にできぬことをやるのが下士官の仕事である。ましてや上官の機嫌取りもまた下士官の重要な仕事であろう。
I'm going to kick your arse one of these days. Like, listen, don't use logic with me. I don't want to do this. The rainy weather persisted all day, and by the time the rain turned into drizzle, the sun had already set. I reluctantly dragged my feet around the castle for several hours in search of the princess, not because I wanted to, but because I was ordered to. When I stopped to look at the sky in exasperation, I finally found her. Finally found her. As soon as where that damned lizard has been hanging out all day. Oi, what in the world are you doing up there, you shitty lizard? Get your arse down here! It's just like... This noise just screams like, well, there goes my peace and quiet. Sorry about that. I just... I do not like that the game just minimizes like that. Why you ignoring me, you bitch? Stop acting all cool and shit!
石を投げるでないわ。危ないだろうが。
Oh, you sound like you have plenty of energy. I thought you were dead since you weren't replying to my calls.
今はお前のバカに付き合ってやる気分ではないのじゃ。
What are you doing up there? Hurry up and get down there. Everybody's worried about you.
やかましいわ。どこにおろうと私の勝手じゃろう。
You really think you can afford to act so selfish right now? Think about it.
用があるならそっちが来い。
Oi, now you've done it. Stay right where you are. I'm gonna climb up there and kick your arse.
私には物思いにふけるすん間もないというのか。
There he is. Real pain in the arse, you know that. I'm here now. So, what are you doing? This is already 10% into Chapter 2. Chapter 2 is fucking short. I'm going to kick somebody's ass.
別に何もしておらん。人が来ぬところであれば、どこでもよかったのじゃ。
Bloody hell, you're the leader of a resistance movement. What do you think would happen if all the people in the camp is only... what would you think would happen to all the people in the camp if he's only up and fucking disappeared?
敵地でもある前に、大げさじゃ。
Tell the slop jockeys that you don't need breakfast, they'll think you are dismissing them from service. Do you realize that?
分かっておるわ。見よ、一郎。ここから見える景色を、私の足元には、私のやることに賛同し、集まってきた。ここから見える誰もが、家族や守りたい大切なものを持っておるのじゃ。その者たちの願いを背負い、前に進む力に変えるのが私の仕事じゃ。そしてもっと遠くに目を向ければ、夕げの煙を上げる家に、暖かな団らんが光となって溢れる窓が見える。幸福の光じゃ。ああいった一つ一つの暖かな光を絶やさぬために、私は立ち上がったのじゃ。さらに遠くに目を向けよう。
the desert.
そうじゃ。あれは600年前の戦争の残滓。この世界に刻みつけられた、未だ消えぬ傷跡じゃ。戦争で草も生えぬほど汚れた砂漠は、今もまだ広がり続けておる。この先1000年、2000年経とうとも、その広がりは止められぬと言われておる。世界は繋がっておるとはよく言ったものじゃ。幸福の光の背後には、死の砂漠が繋がっておるのじゃ。こうして、その光景を目の当たりにするたびに、私には嘆いている暇などないのじゃと実感するのじゃ。立ち止まっては嘆き、ひざまずいては神に祈る。そんな暇があれば、一歩でも前へ。誰かが道を示さなければ前に進めないのであれば、まずは自らが道しるべとなろう。それが、古くからアークジーンに伝わる大賢者の教えじゃ。じゃが私の妹は、そんな教えを理解してはくれなかった。
Whoops. There are just many correct paths as there are people in the world. One person's answers don't necessarily apply to another. Maybe your sister's found a path that's different from
結
yours.
局私は、姉として無力であったのじゃろうな。
So right about that gonna do anything?
珍しく落ち込んでおるのじゃ。少しは優しくできんのか。
Thought I was being considered by dragging my arse all the way up here and listening to your incessant prattle.
嫌なやつじゃな、お前は。
If you want to cry, then just cry. If the tears you spill out for your people, and hell if I'll tell you to stop.
国民の前では簡単には泣けぬ。それが王族というものじゃ。
And just cry in front of me instead. I don't remember applying for lizard
お
citizenship.
前の前で泣くのはもっと嫌じゃ。
There's no need to hold back if you suddenly burst into tears right in front of me. I can't say I know what to do. Tell me what you want me to do before you start, okay?
嫌じゃ。どうせお前は泣いてる私を指さして笑うに決まっておる。絶対に泣くものか。
And you better quit moping around now. There are two types of women I can't stand. Bellyachers and those who back out when push comes to shove.
過去に何ぞあったのか。
Don't ask. It's not something I could talk about to a woman.
ほう。ならば男には聞かせるのじゃな。今度ゾンタにでも問うてみるとするか。
Sure, whatever, anyway. If you have the time to be brooding up here, then why don't you go put an end to this war instead? Once the war is over, some of the missing might return. Maybe your sister.
お前、私を慰めておるのか。
Don't be stupid. I just want this war to be over as soon as possible. I hate war.
そうじゃな。
Good, now that you understand, you can stop bothering me and get down to work. He just dead ass kicks her. I knew I wasn't the right man for this job. I have no idea how to comfort a crying woman. If it were a soldier I was dealing with, I'd know exactly how to help them regain their motivation. Those with poor service records requires different treatment from the aces, of course, but sadly we never learned how to cheer princesses in the Navy. If there's one thing I've learned is that the basic principles behind the military are the same in any country. The new recruits there have made that clear. If the princess sees herself as being part of the army, then there's no reason to treat her any differently. Therefore, I did what I'd do to any unmotivated soldier. Give him a kick up the arse.
お前、私を殺す気か。
She still seems to harbor some doubts about my instruction methods. Honest outskirts, Baraul base.
そしてこちらが、航空機の機銃を参考にして試作された飛行竜兵用の対抗砲、通称、名護式金物1号の設計図の写しになるっす。素材強度や加工技術の未熟もあって、残念ながら完全複製には至らなかったっすけど、とりあえずという形で試写可能なものが今朝工作室の外に出たっす。
I mean, it shoots, I guess. This is quite different from what I had in mind.
構造が複雑すぎて、同じものは作れなかったんすよ。特に、連発のための球団機構が複雑すぎっす。
Why does it have 3 barrels?
球団機構が作れないのなら、銃自体の発射機構を極限まで簡略化して大量に作り、複数を同時装備するという発想に至ったっすよ。仕組みを簡単に説明すると、単発発射機能を持った重心を3本抱え、発射のたびに重心ごと捨ててしまおうという仕掛けっす。
See, so they basically just took a ball cartridge and added a gun barrel to it.
そうっす。発想は航空機の分解中に過程を記録するために使っていた写真機っす。最初のうちは写真を撮るたびにガラス乾板を入れ替えて撮影してたんすけど、何せ分解作業中はとにかく手が汚れるんすよ。だもんで油まみれの手をいちいち洗ってから乾板を交換してたんすけど、さすがに面倒になってきたんすよね。そしたら整備員の一人が甲板にレンズをつけた簡易写真機を思いつきまして、撮影が終わったらレンズごと現像に回すというのを思いついたっす。それなら甲板を交換する手間もないですし、手が汚れていても問題にはならないっすよね。
See, you camera you can throw away, huh?
そうっす。面倒な写真機の甲板交換作業をしなくてもバンバン撮ってバンバン現像に出せるっす。で、そこで私はふわっと気がついたんすよ。あれ？これって機銃でも同じじゃね？と、複雑で手間のかかる球団機構を複製するより、極限まで安価に作ったものをバンバン使い捨てにする方が簡単ってことっす。そうすれば、発射の衝撃と熱で歪んでしまう重心の強度や精度を気にする必要もないっす。
なるほど。よくわからん。よくわからんが、これがその、名護式金物1号なのじゃな？
なんでわかんないっすか。あんだけ時間かけて、設計図まで持ち出して説明したっつうのに。
Maybe your explanation contained too many details to distract from the main point. Here's an explanation that this bonehead of a lizard might understand. It's a thing that goes bang.
なんじゃと？バカにしておるのか？わかっておるわ。使い捨てじゃろ？知っておるわ、それぐらい。私でも。
なんなんすか、その多弾頭地方。
People tend to contradict themselves when emotions obstruct their rational thinking, as so several self-proclaimed aces act just like that back on Saipan.
いいっすか、おひいさま。これがガッとやってバーンってなるやつの試作1号っす。
うるさい！お前らなんか嫌いじゃ！
どうすんすか？へそ曲げちゃったじゃないっすか。
Oh, I didn't know that you lizards wore panties.
これがへそっす。
えい！棒でへそをつつくな！というか、自分のへそで説明せんか！
Wow, I didn't know you lizards wore panties. Well, yes we do.
不思議そうな顔で私を見るな！
ああ、いいえ。どこまで説明したかなと。最近考えることが多くて、頭がぐちゃぐちゃなんすよね。
いろいろ考えるのは大切なことじゃな。私がお前を城に置いてきた理由を、もう一度よく考えてみろ。
まあ、あれっす。とりあえず試射可能なものが完成したんで、試してほしいっす。
This thing is massive, though. Can we really carry it up into the air?
重量は、イチローさんの世界の単位で約270キログラムっすね。それに、抱えて飛ぶというよりは、むしろ重心にまたがって飛ぶという感じっすかね。飛竜の飛行姿勢の問題もあって、小銃のように肩に構えて発射するというわけにもいかないんで、こんな形になったっす。両手でハンドルを握って、両足は固定式のペダルへ。撃鉄を引き起こすときは、右手でこのレバーを引けば、バネが止め金にかかるっす。暴発防止用に引き金も右手っす。
Would have the lever on the left side, just like my zero.
別にイチローさんが引くわけでなし、おひいさまが引くならどっちでもよろしいじゃないっすか。
私が引くのか？
そうっすよ。まずは撃鉄を引き起こすためのレバーを引いて発射するっす。 時短を打つときは、右足で後方のへの字ペダルを蹴れば、歯車が回転して使用済みの重心が落下すると同時に、新しい重心が激鉄位置に移動するっす。
See, it's a bit like a single-action revolver. Didn't think it was possible to create one that ejects the entire barrel.
イチローさん、飛んでいるときは少しでも軽い方がいいって言ってたじゃないっすか。その意見を取り入れたっす。打った後の重心はただのゴミっすからね。打ったら重心ごと捨てて、全部打ったら発射機ごと捨ててしまえば身軽になれるっす。わかったっすか？わからん。これ実さなんて？
ごちゃごちゃと鬱陶しいわ。理論よりも実践じゃん。ささ。
I agree that it would probably be quicker. All new Navy recruits are pushed into the ocean by their instructors, regardless of whether they've ever even seen the ocean before. If they can't swim, they are of no use to us. Most people panic when they're suddenly dropped in the water so deep their feet can't touch the ground, but the ones with potential get used to it within minutes. The ones that don't, they get tossed around by the waves until they learn. That's how real sailors are born. In Navy, we don't get much time to practice. We just have to buck up and get on with things. Oh lord. They actually made a goddamn saddle for her. Alright, we will now commence the test of Naga type hardware 1. The test dog is on the ground at 12 o'clock. Ready? Aim! Fire!
どれのことじゃ？
Use your right hand to pull the lever on the machine. Jesus Christ. What the fuck? Hammer up, target this is the target to 700 meters. Check your right flank, now your left, aim down the sight, and put the crosshairs over the target. Ready to fire?
射撃用意よし！
Fire! You missed! What are you aiming at?
音が大きくてびっくりしたのじゃ。次は当てる。
Right out, discard the first barrel and reload the next shot.
射撃用意よし！
Fire! You missed again! What the bloody hell are you doing?
次じゃ次！
Don't spend too much time thinking about things. It's sink or swim. My old instructor's motto may seem profound and admirable at first, but I don't think his body is as effective as he likes to believe it was. Some recruits will never learn how to swim, no matter how often you kick them into the ocean. And some lizards will never hit their target, no matter how often you make them shoot. Oh, I am talking to you here, lizard!
私はちゃんと狙って撃っておる。当たらぬのは銃が悪いのじゃ。
Blaming your failure on your equipment, huh? Oi, Nago!
いや、こっちに振られても。地上車での性能試験では 2km 先の直径 2m の標的に海中を取れる性能があるっすよ。
Any gun that has a certain degree of variance and sharp grouping, right?
そりゃ多少のブレはあるっすよ。でも18発も撃って1発も当たらないって絶対性能の問題じゃないっす。目閉じて念力で狙ってんじゃないっすか？
バカを申すな。ちゃんとこの目で狙っておるわ。
If you can't get any hits despite aiming, maybe you aren't flying as straight as you think you are.
どういうことじゃ？
Even if you're under the impression that you're flying straight, maybe you're side-slipping in the wind. Maybe we should start by practicing how to fly straight towards a target on the surface.
酔っ払いでもある前に。何を今さらまっすぐ飛ぶれ。
Alright, have a close look at the horizon. Do you see these three rocks in the distance? Let's use those as our target.
どこに岩があるじゃと？
Wait, Nago, come here for a second, for a moment.
なんすか？
Let me borrow these.
メガネ！
Oi, Liza, try these on.
なぜじゃ？
Just try them. Well, can you see now?
確かによく見えるが。
Already had a hunch, but this proves it. You're nearsighted.
いや、まあ、確かに幼少より目には多少難儀したが、何も見えぬというわけではないし、不自由を感じたことはないぞ。
そりゃあそうでしょうよ。不自由がないようにって周りのリンシンさんやお付きのメイドなんかが代わりに全部やってるんすから。
I've heard that rich folk enjoy being inconvenienced since it allows them to be pampered.
なんじゃその顔は。私はちゃんと本だって読めるし、書類仕事も毎日やっておるぞ。
Yeah, you're nearsighted.
そうは言っても、おひいさまいっつも本や書類に顔面を押し付けるようにしてるじゃないすか。あれ、目に良くないっすよ。
Anyways, we've solved the mystery of why your shots don't hit. Your eyesight is terrible. You should wear some glasses.
しかし
But what?
しかし、これは私には似合わん。
I currently am looking at the exact fucking the opposite of that. Like, I'm currently looking at the antithesis to your thesis. Goddamn adorable, really. Oh, bugger off. Looking silly is still better than not being able to see, isn't it? Who cares what you look like? Stop acting like a spoiled little princess.
それを返してもらわないと、今度は私が何も見えないんすけど。
You're too self-conscious. I think they look fine on you.
本当か？なぜ目をそらす？
I mean, they do actually look fine.
笑われた。
No, I'm not laughing.
そうっすよ、おひいさま。よく似合って。
名護にまで。
I'm not trying to make fun of you, but the harder I try not to laugh, the more difficult it is.
この次町へ行ったら、もっと私向きのものを探してくる。
We had the Lizard Princess's eyesight tested after that. The results showed that she has a vision impairment of -5 in her right eye and -2 in her left. While a level of mytopia may not inconvenience her very much in her day-to-day life, for pilot or gunner, even the slightest eyesight impairment can lead to disastrous results. Actually, I wonder what my eyes are. Again, I always fucking forget. Honestard. Well, it's none of my business what the Lizard Princess chooses to put up with in her daily life. Her eyesight issues start to become my business. She's going to be operating a cannon while we fly into battle together. It's one thing for her to fly without regard for her life, but since I'll be the one riding her, her recklessness will put me in danger too. Besides, I need her to be able to tell ally from foe, or else there will be even more to worry about. When I asked her how she's managed to tell the difference between her allies and her enemies up until now, she told me that it wasn't much of an issue. If they approach her with a salute or wave at me, they're allies. If they scatter like roaches, they're foes. Her overly carefree tone sent a chill down my spine. What a naive strategy. If our allies knew that their Lizard Princess, armed to the teeth with heavy artillery, was actually nearsighted, they too would scatter like roaches if they knew what was good for them. I shudder as I try to imagine how many of our allies might have been needlessly sacrificed in battle. How many mothers would have to get their fateful letter telling them that their precious sons died a futile death in a blue-on-blue incident? We can't let something like that happen again. Let's go and buy you some glasses.
いらんと申しておるであろうに。
Try saying that while you imagine the tears of your soldiers' mothers. You definitely need some glasses.
何を言っておるのじゃお前。
I'll explain after we finish our shopping. Let's go.
強引な男じゃの。
Nothing good ever comes out of accompanying a woman on her shopping trip. However, once you've decided to join them, it is crucial that you keep your poker face on. One of my fellow squad mates was a bit of a skirt chaser, and he told me that you should never try to tell a woman what looks good on her and what doesn't. He claimed that even when women ask you for your opinion, they aren't actually looking for answers from you. I don't get what and why they would do that, though.
最も基本的な商品としましては、こちらのタイプがおすすめでございます。レンズの面積も広く、歪みも少なく、重量も軽量で、長時間の着用にもご使用いただけるかと存じます。
どうじゃ。
Aren't they fine? They seem like the type of glasses an old lady running a tobacco shop would wear. They exude the class of senior citizens with a ton of valuable life experience.
百科じゃな。次の表。
こちらの商品などは若い世代に人気のタイプになります。お値段の方もレンズ込みで大変お求めになりやすくなっておりまして。
どうじゃ一郎。
The color's too flashy. It clashes with your silver hair. I think you should try something more subdued.
他の色は
他にはオレンジ、ピンク、ブルー、グリーンがございます。
All of them
ご試着なされますか？
would not go well with their hair.
一郎。何色が良いと思う？
Does it really matter? I can't see the color. You can't see the color yourself when you're wearing them
そう
anyway.
いうことを聞いておるのではないわ。もうよい。次。
変わったお色をお求めでしたら、こちらなどはいかがでしょう。吉兆の象徴とされる月光柱の口角から削り出した商品になります。
I mean, that one actually does look good. It's gotta be balls to the walls expensive though.
月光柱の口角は分光性がありまして、ご覧になる角度や光の当たり方で様々な色に変化して見えます。また、季節に応じて気温や湿度でも色に変化が出ますので、通年を通して飽きることはないかと。
おお、見よ一郎。これは不思議じゃぞ。紫にも見えるし、青にも見える。光の加減では緑にも見えるではないか。
So what color is it exactly? Wouldn't it get pretty annoying if different colors kept flashing before your eyes?
気に入らんのか。
What matters is whether you like them.
いちいち尺に触る物言いをするのは。気に入らんのなら気に入らんと言えばよかろう。
I couldn't care less. I honestly don't give a damn what kind of glasses she wears. The only thing that really matters to me is that she can see. If I had to stipulate one requirement, it would be that they aren't too heavy. An airman must always choose the lightest equipment, even if the difference is only a single gram. Need to be able to move faster than your enemy and have the eyesight to spot them before they spot you. It's of absolutely no importance what the glasses look like.
なんとか言ったらどうじゃ。面白くもない。やはりメガネなど不要じゃ。
If you can't choose, then I'll choose for you.
私はメガネなどいらんと言っておろうが。
Let's go with these
なん
then.
じゃと
I've decided. Excuse me, can we get some lenses of the right
は
prescription?
い。ただいまご用意いたします。
おい、何を勝手に話を進めておる。私は買わんぞ。
I'll buy him. I'm free to spend my pay on whatever I want to stop your bloody
一
whinging.
郎。
An hour has passed since the lizard princess unwillingly underwent her eye test. We went and had some tea at a nearby cafe while we waited for the lenses to be adjusted, though she kept grumbling the entire time. How long are you gonna keep sulking? We've bought them now, so put them on.
嫌じゃん。どうせまた笑うつもりじゃろ。
You need to try them on now. If you can't see properly, if they turn out to be uncomfortable, we can still go back to the store and get them adjusted. It would be a pain if we had to come back at a later date.
なんじゃ。偉そうに。
How do they feel? Can you actually see with them?
見える。
They need to be adjusted. Okay, great, then let's head back.
笑うのはもってのほかじゃが、何も言わんのも失礼じゃとは思わんのか。なんでもないわい。
From that day onward, the lizard started wearing her glasses whenever she needed them. She still looks terribly displeased whenever she has to wear them in front of me, but she still makes sure to use them whenever she reads, looks over strategic documents or plans, and of course, practices shooting. I've been wondering about something. What happens to her glasses when she transforms into a dragon?
何を今更っすよ。メガネどころか、着ている服とかどうなっちゃうんすかって話っすよね。
Oh, I should mention it. How does that work?
竜変身は肉体の変化ではなく、量子変化なんすよ。陽子と中性子が原子核を構成して、電子と結合。
Wait a tick. That sounds like complete bollocks to me.
いえ、これはこの世界に限った話ではなく、どの世界でも共通の量子のお話っすよ。
science in your world is that advanced, why can't you build a simple wristwatch?
所詮は大賢者様がはるか昔に残した学術っすからね。知識として知っているというだけで、私たちの実生活に応用するには至っていないというのが現実っす。
Can you simplify your explanation a bit for now? We can get into the theory of it another day.
要は、物質の量子分解と再構成。つまり、一旦この世の最小レベルまでバラバラになって、バラバラにした部品で竜形体の体を組み立てているんすよ。だから、メガネをかけたまま変身すれば、メガネも含めて竜に再構成されるんで、視力も補正されるってわけっす。
It sounds absurd. I don't think I follow.
大丈夫っす。実は私もよくわかってないっすから。
Well, it is what it is, right? Guess I just have to go with it.
そういうことっす。まあ、それはそれとして、おひいさまってば、せっかくメガネを買ったのにかけないんすかね？
She seems to wear them only when she really needs them. That being said, her accuracy has definitely increased.
せっかく見えるようになったんすから、いつもかけてればいいのに。
Maybe it's taken her some time to get used to them. For now, it's fine if she just wears them whenever she needs to.
やっぱ、あれじゃないっすか？イチローさんが笑ったのが良くなかったんじゃないっすかね。あれは傷つくっすよ、女子としては。
That's ridiculous. Besides, you laughed at her just as much as I did.
そりゃそうなんすけど、やっぱ違うんじゃないんすか？男に笑われるのと女に笑われるのとでは。
Does it really matter?
謝れとは言わないっすけど、一度ぐらいは褒めてあげてもバチは当たんないんじゃないっすかね。
It's way too late for that. Anyway, nothing good ever comes out of commenting on a woman's appearance. If you shower them with empty compliments, it will only sour the mood even further, so it's better to keep quiet.
まあ、長いことおひいさまのそばにいた女のくだらない助言だと思って、頭のどこかにしまっておくといいっすよ。
Alright, I'll keep it in mind and be more careful. Thanks.
どこ行くんすか、イチローさん。
I'm going to submit my proposal for a new squad roster to our commander.
それって、おひいさまのことっすよね。
So what? Don't give that creepy laugh unless you want a knuckle sandwich.
イチローさん。
Shut up, I'm not gonna kiss her arse, okay? Doubt that Nago meant any harm with her advice. She probably had the best intentions, but timing is crucial when it comes to these things. It's just like in dogfights. Once you let a chance slip by, it's nearly impossible to get another shot. Get careless, you might just miss the opportunity of a lifetime. Thinking back to Naga's words makes me strangely self-conscious about the Lizard Princess. Now just isn't the right time for me to take a gamble. Ichiro Mimori reporting. I've come to submit the new squad roster.
入れ。
Again, those glasses are not good. Fucking, especially since the fucking, like, you know, like this here, like, I don't know what to call this in English. The would be like Bügel in German. It's going through her ear. It's not supposed to do that. I believe you're aware that we were considering forming mixed units made up of both dogs and dragon soldiers. Here's the roster I would propose based on Baraul's personal records.
了解した。
And here it's suddenly like, just like probably like through the top of the ear here, like through the earlobe here. Fuck.
どうした？報告はそれだけか？
Yes.
苦労をかけた。退出してよし。
Seems that I disturbed you at the wrong time.
なんじゃ？まだ。
Oops. Those glasses look good on you.
今更のごとく口先だけで機嫌を取らんでもよいわ。
Right out.
本当に今更じゃ。
On a start outskirts Baraul base. We're 22%. And it's been 2 weeks since Cordia, the only oasis in the Dumplet desert, was destroyed. And the source of water in the desert is gone. It has become impossible for large convoys to cross the unforgiving sands. All we can do is try to help the territories that used to rely on the oasis by exporting what emergency supplies we can spare. The Vizsla forces stationed in the stronghold to the north of the desert have started invading the central west and the southern coastal areas. We also had more frequent encounters with the zombie corps, who have been left to roam unchecked. Even the small convoys that act as the only remaining lifeline for the desert communities has reported multiple casualties. As I suggested, you've been sending emergency supplies via air to the villages whose supply lines have been cut, haven't you?
続けてはいるが、空輸では運べる量が限られてしまうし、重量物の輸送はどうしても陸送に頼らざるを得ない。重要物資の陸送に関しては、陸送隊の護衛に我が部隊の竜を直縁に飛ばせてはいるが、かえってそれが敵の目を引く結果につながってもいる。
Any casualties?
今のところ直縁隊に被害は出ていないが、敵の飛行部隊が現れると援護していた輸送団の上空を離れて個別戦闘に入ってしまい、結果として輸送団が壊滅させられてしまうようだ。
What's the point of even sending escorts when they abandon the convoy?
どうにも地を這う者を命がけで守るということに抵抗があるようだ。
Can't win a war with self-conceit. Why are all you lizards like that?
それは言ってくれるな。私も問題だとは思っているのじゃ。
だがな、一郎よ。周辺地域への輸送ばかりに気を取られておる場合ではない。我が隊でも物資の不足は深刻な問題だ。物流が断たれてしまった地域への食料は我が隊の貯蔵物資をあてがうことで賄っておる。このままではいずれ貯蔵も尽きるであろう。
How long will our stockpiles last?
保存の効きにくいものから放出してはいるが、放出量が多すぎる。2週間後には粉味噌と乾麺包しか残らんぞ。
深刻なのは食料問題だけではない。武器も圧倒的に足りておらん。敵より露獲する小銃はもとより、剣においても一人に一振りもままならん。
潤沢なのは小型の樽型爆弾ばかりであります。飛べる竜族はまだいいにしても、陸戦を主とする竜兵団には深刻な問題でありましょう。これでは兵に自殺しろと申しているようなものです。
陸戦隊ならば犬族が加わったであろう。そちらも武器が不足しておるのか。
奴らは山岳猟兵ゆえ、我らとは異なる武器を使用しまする。主に単刀による近接戦を好む傾向にあるようで、銃や弾薬の補充は不要とのこと。
そうなのか。
Why are you asking me?
犬族のキャンプに出入りしておるのじゃろ。
All we've done is exchange pleasantries. I don't know what they're up to exactly.
挨拶ができるだけマシじゃん。奴らは竜族の顔を見れば耳を立て、牙を見せる。
戦争において強調はするが、慣れ合いはせんということでしょうな。先日も酒場にて竜族と犬族の間で小競り合いが起きたとの報告が上がっております。
簡単にうまくはいかんものじゃの。
But they are excellent mountain rangers. You received a report about the battle the other day, right?
山の北側から侵入を試みたヴィスラの山岳部隊を退けた話か？
It was meant to be a surprise assault. They came in the middle of the night, but the dogs pounced on their vanguard before anybody else even picked up their sword. Scouts that the main Vizsla force sent ahead were quietly surrounded and overpowered in one fell swoop. The rest of the attack force made a brisk retreat as soon as they heard the dogs' howls echo through the dense forest. Since that day, not one of them has dared set foot in the northern mountains.
確かに山側からの奇襲の不安は解消されたのは大きい。
The dogs have sharp hearing and a keen sense of smell. They take great pride in their work and never do a half-assed job. Their abilities are well suited to reconnaissance missions.
なんじゃ、随分と犬の肩を持つな。
If you refuse to acknowledge their success, then I have to praise them for you. It goes against my nature, though, so I'd rather you didn't force me to do this. I'm not going to go overboard. The dog tribe's skills are highly specialized, which is fine when they work alone. But it's crucial that they learn how to work with other tribes as well. They can't keep up the lone wolf act forever.
所詮奴らは山賊じゃん。協調性に欠けるということじゃな。
You need to do something about those prejudiced views of yours. Remember that everything you say reflects on the lizard tribe. To me, you lizard and dogs are exactly the same. You're both too focused on individual skills, and as long as you're strong, you don't care about anybody else. You'll never win a war with that kind of attitude.
痛いところをついてくる。
You can huff at me all you want, but isn't it your job to unite our troops and lead them into battle together?
分かっておる。分かってはおるが、私一人では手が回りきらんのは明確であろうが。貴様の国ではそれを補佐するのは誰の仕事なのだ？
The officers.
では貴様が働け。
Come order me around, you manky lizard.
何にせよ、陸曹を封じられ、空輸もままならず、次に回路を断たれようものなら、目も当てられんの。
You've probably just pinpointed the enemy's next target. What are the most important shipping routes in this world?
回路を取り仕切っておるのは人魚族だ。
Mermaids? Yeah, mermaids? Well, I suppose that shouldn't really surprise me at this point. So, if we want to use the sea routes, you would have to talk to these mermaids?
それがそう簡単な話でもないのじゃ。
Why, is there some kind of problem? First dogs, now mermaids. What a royal pain in the arse.
やはり6年ぐらい前かな。回路の使用をめぐって人魚族とビスラ公国の間にトラブルがあったのじゃ。話せば長い話じゃが、簡単に説明すると、ビスラ公国が人魚族の町であるアクラーを襲撃して、人魚族にとって必要不可欠な場所である聖域を奪ってしまったのじゃ。
Why is that?
まあ、ゲスに言えば繁殖場じゃな。そこを奪われたとあっては、子孫繁栄もままならぬわけじゃが、こともあろうに公国は、その聖域に人魚の天敵であるトロルを放ちおった。それ以来、人魚族は他種族を信用しなくなり、音響障壁による海域の封鎖を始めたというわけじゃ。
Wait a second, give me a moment to process all that. Okay, so what is an acoustic deterrent barrier?
人魚の武器は、声唱と呼ばれる歌の力じゃ。つまりは、歌声で島に近寄る船を遠ざけておる。
Even trade ships?
公国は、他国の商船に偽装した船でトロルを運んだという話じゃからな。今まで周辺海域の通行を許されていた商船の類も、今では島に近づくことすらままならん状態じゃ。
How does that pose a problem for us?
大ありじゃん。アクラーのそばを通過すれば、2日で済む航路を、6日かけて遠回りせねばならぬ。
Vessel must be suffering the same losses as the entire shipping route has been blocked. How are we coping with it? How are they
申した
coping
よ
with
う
it?
に、公国は人魚の繁殖地へ、天敵であるトロルを放っておるのじゃ。無駄な戦力を割かずとも、いずれ人魚族は絶滅する。それを待つつもりじゃろう。このまま人魚族の滅亡が完遂されれば、アクラ周辺回路は、ヴィスラ公国の手に落ちるであろう。もしそうなれば、鉱山資源を北部のヴィスラ本国へ運ぶ回路が確保されることとなり、敵の兵器生産能力がますます上がることじゃろう。じゃが、そううまくはいかせん。人魚族の聖域奪還戦に、我らが武力援助する。公国よりも先に、沿岸地域と港湾施設の接種を進めねばならぬのじゃ。
Take it that we'll be negotiating with the mermaids next then.
その通りじゃ。
I admire your enthusiasm, but where exactly are you going to source the power that we need for that? We do have the dogs on our side. We need them for local defense. If we deploy them in a distant territories, it could lead to our ultimate defeat.
何？それは問題ない。そうじゃろ、林心。
は、間もなく前線に派遣しておりました第一小隊が戻りましょう。
Platoon 1.
我が軍の主戦力である。
今日中には戻る予定じゃ。奴らが戻れば、聖域のトロルなど。
失礼します。
誰か。
第一小隊隊長、双剣ランバルト大佐、および副長、ナナオフェティ少尉であります。
入れ。
第一小隊小隊長双剣並びに副長七尾、エストポリア戦線より期待した。
大義であった。
はっ。姫様におかれましてはご機嫌麗しく。
挨拶はよい。よくぞ戻った。まずは十分に休養せ。
そうも言ってはおられますまい。兵に十分な飯を食わせた後はすぐにでも次の戦地へ向かいましょうぞ。
その前に報告だ。随分と遅かったではないか。手こずったようだな。エストポリアの守りはさすがに手強かったか。
抜かせ。兵力の差を考えれば当然のことよ。口惜しい話だが、安定した戦線を構築しただけでも行幸とせねばならん。
それでも我が隊で敵が輸送に使っている橋梁を破壊し、油田基地を奪取することに成功しました。あとは現地に補給基地を建造するだけですが、依頼していた資材の運搬はどうなっているのですか？
そのことじゃが、砂漠の水源地、コーディアが壊滅した。
何ですと？それでは。
砂漠を横断する大型物資の輸送はできん。空輸に関しても、今は近隣地域への支援物資輸送で手一杯じゃ。
しかし、せっかく陥落せしめた拠点をこのまま放置するにはあまりに。
わかっておる。その対策を話し合うていたところじゃ。
それは？
人魚族と交渉し、回路を手に入れる。それまでの辛抱じゃ。
であれば、なるべく急がれませい、姫様。現地では天幕すら満足ではない状態で、多数の将兵が野営をしておりまする。遠征の疲労を抱えたままでは何日持ちこたえることができるやら。
わかっておる。
Why you sent them off again? Shouldn't you do something else first?
なんじゃ。
Souls have returned from the front line. Why don't you go and individually thank all for their service? Shake their hands, and if they're injured, ask them what happened. It's all part of Commander's job.
そういうものか。
そうしていただければ兵も喜びましょう。
ではそのようにしよう。一郎、ついてまいれ。
Why, you're not gonna make a good impression if you're always walking around with me and Joe. Go be yourself.
では、私がご案内いたしましょう。
しかし七尾、貴様は報告があろう。
報告書は用意してありますし、口頭報告は宗賢様にお任せします。
心得た。ついでだ、七尾。正体に戻ったら補給の手配を済ませておけ。
了解であります。ささ、姫様。
一郎、お前は本当に来ぬのか？
Nah, just go.
可愛げのないやつじゃ。
Bloody hell, earn enough Commander's favor and you'll never worry about finding the chance to die an honorable death.
さすがですな、下士官殿。
Shut your scaly gab, isn't it your job to kick the lizard's arse around?
一郎と言ったか。この男は何者だ。随分と姫様に来やすいようだが。
Fabled Ichiro.
そうけんよ。貴様のところにも報告は言っているであろう。この男が例のあれだ。
はは。貴様が噂の異世界人というやつか。なるほど。報告通りの鼻持ちならんつらをしている。
Wow, you're as much of an annoying little shit as the reports say. Why you bleed ever apologize for being so stinky and slimy? It's not our fault that we're born how we are. Gaffer, what kind of our bullocks have you been sending around exactly?
ありのままを伝えた。それがどう伝わったかなどは私の預かり知るところではない。
Well, I guess I don't really care what you lizards think of me anyway.
なるほど。口のへらんがきだ。
嫌いではなかろう。
Oi, we're not flapping our guns like this for no reason, are we? Let's get to the important part.
何をだ？
Don't play dumb, you have something to say, don't you? Something that you don't feel like you can report to your commander or to your subordinates. That's why I have the princess and you'll tend to leave the room.
こういう男だ。気にすることはない。報告を続けてくれ。
See what I have to deal with? Oh, please, just go on.
進行状況は説明した通りだ。敵の橋梁を破壊し、油田基地を奪取することに成功した。だがな、こちらの被害も相当に深刻だ。陸戦隊の3割と飛竜隊の半数に欠員が出た。補充で新しく編成を組まねばならん。
そうか。
無事に戻った竜の中にも翼をもがれた奴もいる。あいつはもう飛べん。国に返すつもりだが、当人はまだ戦えると言って聞かなくてな。
貴様の隊には志願兵しかおらんからな。国に帰れと言われたところで素直に帰る奴もおらんだろう。
この戦争は今後ますます難しくなる。補充は必要だ。
兵の補充は考えよう。
犬族との交渉が成立したそうではないか。陸戦隊はそちらで補えんのか？
どう思う？一郎。
It would be difficult for the dogs to work on the lizard command. Even if you treat them as equals, their field of expertise is too different from yours. They don't know how to work together with the air forces. It will take a considerable amount of time to train them.
犬族を従えたのではないのか？
従えたわけではないが、連中に貸しは作った。その貸しを姫様は返してもらうつもりがない。そしてこれからも貸しを増やし続けるだろう。
犬族の義理堅さに乗じるというわけか。
いずれはそれが絆になる日も来るであろ
う。だといいがな。それはさておき、まずは飛べる竜の補充が先決だ。当てはないのか？
全くないわけでもないが、軍の教育を受けていない民兵からの補充になる。
それで構わん。教育はうちで受け持とう。
Regarding that, would you mind if I gave your flying lizards a couple of lessons?
なんだと？
To be blunt, you lizards suck at flying. I can't bear to stand and watch any work. Flying comes so naturally to you guys that you never seem to stop and consider how you could improve your skills.
飛べもせん異世界人が何を偉そうに。
まあそう言うな。これでもこの男は元いた世界では航空機の搭乗員として戦場の空を飛んでいたらしい。
しかしだな。
言いたいことはわかるが、この男の竜使い能力に関しては姫様も全幅の信頼を寄せている。一度試してみるのも手だ。
私が許可したところで、うちの跳ねっ返りどもが素直にこの男の指導に従うかどうかは疑問だな。
Don't worry, I've already learned how to deal with your stubborn lizard women. I'd say I'm quite good at it, actually. What matters isn't their aptitude, but their power and how to bring it out.
私でも手を焼く連中だ。後で泣きついてきても知らんぞ。
どのみち補充をかけたところで数が集まるまでには時間がかかる。その間に飛竜の教育をする時間はあるだろう。
It'll have to wait until the negotiations with the Mermaid tribe are finished, though.
また行くつもりか？
Yes, Gaffer, we're sending a special envoy on ahead, consisting of me, the Lizard Princess, and a representative of the Dog tribe, which will probably end up being Isla. If the negotiations are successful, we will regain access to the sea routes around Aquila. You know what? Fuck it. And the flying lizards who've been conducting air transport operations will be able to return to active service. And then...
補充も容易になるというわけか。
そういうことだ。飯を食ってすぐに戦場に戻るつもりだったようだが、しばらくは足止めだな。いい機会だ。たまには尻尾を丸めて眠るといい。
Is how you thank your men for their services? In war, there is always a severe lack of both supplies and manpower. Supply line is like a noose around the servicemen's necks. It is of vital importance this way open up the sea routes. The negotiations with the mermaids need to commence as soon as possible, so we decided to head out the very next day.
Hmm. 首と足が張って地味に痛いのじゃ。
What, the great lizards buggered out already?
上下に100キロ台の重りをつけての長距離飛行ともなれば疲れもする。そもそも王族の竜が人を乗せて飛ぶこと自体が稀、名誉なことなのじゃぞ。
へえ、トカゲの間では人の首根っこを足で掴んで運ぶことを乗せるっていうのかい。
二人も首に乗せたら肩が凝ってしまうではないか。
Perhaps you need to loosen up a bit?
めんどくせえとはなんじゃ。
Oi, you're the one who's being a pain in the neck here, lizard.
じゃれ合うのはそこまでにしな。目的の島に着いたはいいけど、すっかり日が落ちた。
はあ、そうじゃな。初めての訪問が夜間というわけにもいかんじゃろうし、今日はここで野営するしかあるまい。
Alright, then the first thing we need to do is secure a source of scran.
途端に目を輝かせ始めたところに水を差すようで悪いが、食料なら心配ないぞ。ヌーミンの肉を幾ばくか持ってきておる。
それで足りないようなら、トカゲの尻尾でも焼いて食えばいいさ。
お前の方こそその毛むくじゃらな尻尾をかじったらどうじゃ。オクトパスは腹が減ったら自分の足を食うそうじゃぞ。
どうやら本当に尻尾を輪切りにされたいらしい。
Don't squabble when we're talking about chow. Weren't you the one who said we didn't have time for this, Blondie? There's a wide open ocean right in front of us. There's no need to waste our precious reserves. There are plenty of fresh supplies to be found around here.
釣りでもするつもりなのか?
You think that Navy man is gonna prod around with a pole for a handful of measly tiddlers? No, here's what we'll use.
その樽をか?
It isn't just a plain old barrel. It's a barrel bomb. We thought that these are the only weapons that we have in abundance.
そうか、わかったぞ。岩を岩に叩きつけて川魚を取るようなものじゃな。
The theory is similar, but I'm not sure how powerful this egg is, so we'd better take a couple steps back just in case.
待ちな、一郎。
Yeah, this is a terrible fucking idea. These mermaids are extremely fucking paranoid right now, to the point where they're not letting any ships through because a simple merchant ships was filled with fucking trolls, and that's why they fucking lost their capital and are in an actual fucking danger of extinction now. And you wanna, while on your way to get to their camp to negotiate with them, decide it's a good idea to immediately upon arriving on their island, set off an explosive. That's just not a very good idea, is it? Bloody hell, what's your problem? Don't tell me you can't stomach fish. You better cover your ears unless you don't want your eardrums anymore.
そうじゃなくて。
She's gonna blow, get down, duck and cover!
なんて衝撃じゃ。たかが魚取りくらいで、これだけ大掛かりな仕掛けが必要なのか。
Doesn't justify to me. Just look at all the fish. We're gonna have a proper good plate of fish tonight.
この辺りの海が豊かな証拠さ。
Most of these fish don't look very palatable. They're as ugly as blobfish. So much for getting a taste of the old fishery.
ん? おい、イチロー。あそこに見えるでっかいのは何じゃ?
That appears to be a mermaid. It's actually worse than I expected. It's actually worse than I expected. They killed the fucking citizen. Oh, wow, that bigger than any I was expected to catch. It must be a lucky day.
しかし、明らかに他の魚と違わんか? こう、種族的なレベルで。
Don't they say that the uglier the fish, the better it tastes, though? Big Bertha over there should last us for about 2 days, considering the size of it.
それは本気で言ってるのかい、一郎。
Come on, quit your whinging. I'll cover its face with my hand to suffocate it. If you've got nothing better to do, why don't you help me drag it
と
ashore?
いうかその魚、私の知っている人魚によーく似ておるような気がするのじゃが。
Blimey, what a tech. Oh, is that a mermaid?
ああ、ネーレースって呼ばれてるアジン種さ。
Those are fish people we're supposed to be chatting up, yeah? Does that mean that...
見事にほふったというわけじゃな。
Oh, we haven't checked its heartbeat yet, so it could still only be attempted murder.
そういう問題か？
We'll just have to get rid of Big Bird here before they find out. Half of it is fish. I'm sure that part will taste fine after we
お
barbecue
前
it.
は時々恐ろしいことを言うの。
This is a world of talking lizards and dogs. Don't expect me to understand what the bloody hell common sense is around here.
しかし、見事な鱗じゃ。
魚鱗の胸当てを作るにはもってこいだね。
おい犬、お前もか。
See, so it's got a fishtail from the waist down. But then where its reproductive
おい
organs?
こら、またぐらを覗くでない。お前は遠慮という言葉を知らんのか。
You should have told me that these mermaids swim around here. Oh, let me just actually take a screenshot of that as well. I'm getting a veritable fucking feast of potential thumbnails today.
警告しようとはしたさ。でもそれを無視して投擲を始めたのはイチローじゃないか。
We cannot allow this fish woman to die on us here. Does anybody have any smelling salts? Oi, wake up!
なんだか体がふわふわして温かい。あれ、あっちの明るい光は。
Don't follow the light. Once you cross over, you won't be able to return to the world of the living.
そこにいるのはお母さん。
That's not what I want. That's not what I want! Your mother wants you to live! Come on, stay with us! Is that blood? No, that's just her hair.
どうして行っちゃうの？私、お母さんと話したいこと。待って。
Come back, kid! There's where your home is. Friends and family waiting for you. Don't you want to see them again? Finally awake.
こわもてだけど、結構タイプかも。
What?
でも、いきなりこんな状況になっちゃってるってことは、もしかして私、やっちゃった？これって死後の世界ってやつ？
は？
あのね、いくらここが天国だからって、いきなりおっぱいはまずくないかな。なんか、周りに人もいるし。
I think the blast knocked some screws loose in her head.
錯乱しておるだけじゃろ。
薬か。それってきっとエッチのことに使うやつだよね。そうなんだよね。
Yeah, she's got something wrong in her head, clearly.
でもこう見えて私まだ処女だからさ、最初は大事にっていうか、なるべく優しくしてほしいな。
Also, apparently, I was told that in the R18 version, the whole eating, where Curio sent out the pink-haired bitch out of the room to eat Tomb. That's apparently an age scene in the R18 version, which I know. Oh, anyways. Oh, I see. You think I want? You think I want to give you a good Rogerin? I think you've got the wrong end of the stick, lass.
違うの？
I got a grip, lassie. I'm not trying to have sex with you.
あれ？
おまけにここは天国でもなければ、お前は死んでもおらん。
じゃあ、どうして私は気を失って。
You got caught up in an explosion. We were trying to do a little blast fishing.
ごめん。ちょっと卵からやり直してくる。
おいおい、恥ずかしい勘違いをした挙句、勝手に帰ろうとするんじゃないよ。
だって、見ず知らずの人にエッチな願望をぶちまけちゃったんだよ。お母さんにも話したことないのに。
ああ、まあそうだね。
だからおっぱいで許して。それで、さっきのあれは人魚が見せた幻だと思って忘れて。
いらんわ、そんなもの。
じゃあ、どうすればいいの？もう最悪。私、絶対人魚向いてない。
なんぞ面倒な女子のようじゃが。私たちは、アクラーの町を探しておるだけじゃ。
アクラーを？っていうか、よく見るとその角。
名乗るのが遅れたな。私は、アークジーン王国第一王女の雪風じゃ。
雪風って、ビスラ公国に対する抵抗運動の先導をしているっていう、ジーンブラッドのお姫様ですよね。それがどうしてこんなところに？
ビスラがネイレースの聖域にトロルを放ったという情報を聞いてな。族長に話を聞かせてもらおうとやってきた。
もしかして、戦争の協力を頼みに？
協力の形にも色々とあるが、それをどう解釈するかは、ネイレースの族長次第じゃろうな。
そうですか。
So would you be able to show us the way to this Aqua place?
アクラは、この先の分かれ道を右に進んで、1時間ほど歩いた先になります。
つまり、案内はしてもらえないってことかい？
申し訳ありませんが、あなた方がバラウールの関係者だと知ってしまった以上、私には報告の義務があります。
まあ、もっともな話じゃな。
それでは、道中お気をつけて。
Looks like she grew wary of us the moment we revealed our identity.
それも仕方なかろう。ネイレースはもともと争い事が嫌いな種族で、それがここまで町の数を減らした原因にもなっておる。そんな種族に協力を申し込もうというのじゃから、最初から歓迎は期待しておらん。
I know you don't like when people get all lily-livered blondies, so I'm afraid our mission's gonna be a real pain in the arse. While it may sound heroic to stand up against the Visla Principality's occupation, at our core, we are simply guerrilla fighters eroding away at their imposed order. To the weak and defenseless, anybody who causes conflict is evil. There can be no war without the sacrifices of millions, after all. The Mermaid tribe sticks to their policy of non-aggression despite having their land trampled by the enemy. The epitome of pacifist ideals. Looking into the concerned eyes of the first mermaid I've ever met, I could tell that the coming negotiations would not be smooth sailing.
おはようございます、カリン・コリン様。
おはよう。あなたが今日から私の身の回りの世話をしてくれる子ね。
はい、何なりと用事をお申し付けください。
あら、頼もしいじゃない。でもこんな風に部屋の前で待ってたりしなくてもいいわよ。必要になったら呼ばせてもらうから。それと私のことはカリンでいいわ。
しかし
女には一人になりたい時もあるってことよ。
わかりました。カリン。
仕事熱心なのはいいことだけど、他にも熱心にならなきゃいけないことがあるってことを知りなさい。
それは体力作りのことでしょうか。
恋をしろってことよ。 おはようございます、サイラス様。
コリンか。
一国の代表ともあろうお方がこんなところで黄昏れているなんて。あ、まさか失恋でも？
そういうお前の方こそどうしてこんな場所へ来た？
イケメンと二人っきりになれるチャンスだと女の勘が告げたものって。
お前は相変わらずだな、コリン。
正直が私たちのモットーですから。
そうだったな。
でも本当に何かお悩みになられていることがあるのでは？
それはお前の思い過ごしだ。バラウールもルルカリオンと手を組み、全ては計画通りに進んでいる。
それでも塔を破壊されてしまうとは思いませんでしたけど。
どうやら以前とは何かが違うらしい。
風の噂では一人の男が知恵を貸しているとか。
それでも想定の範囲内だ。所詮は烏合の衆。恐れるに足りん。
ただ刹那姫はサイラス様の計画を快く思われていないご様子。
あれはジーンブラッドの血。特に姉の雪風に対する憎しみが強い。そのせいで気がせいてしまうのだろう。
女の情念ほど扱いにくいものはないと思いますけど。
かもしれん。だがそういう部分も含めてあれには価値がある。
あら、いつの間にか随分と刹那姫のことをお気に入りになられたのですね。
私としてはお前のことも高く評価しているつもりだが。
ええ、軍学校でも浮いた存在だった私を拾ってくださったこと、今でも感謝していますわん。
お前は周りがよく見えている上に裏表がない。それは他の人間にはない資質でもある。
つまり他の家臣や民のことは信用できないと？
そういうわけではない。だが民とは愚かな生き物だ。そして愚かだからこそルールがあり、集団を統率する者が必要となる。そのことすら一体どれだけの者が理解できているというのか。いや、これではただの愚痴だな。
いいじゃないですか、愚痴。刹那姫にできないお話があるなら私がいつでもお相手いたしますわん。
そうだな。その時はお前に話を聞いてもらうとしよう。
ただしお酒が入った時の身の安全までは保証しかねますので、そこだけはご注意を。
肝に銘じておこう。それで話は変わるが、アクラの方はどうなっている？
はい、サイラス様のご指示通りにことを進めておきました。
さすがの手際だな、コリン。
お褒めに預かり光栄です。
陸路が断たれたとなれば、次に雪風が手を出すのはネーレイスだろうからな。
ネーレースは女だけの種族。扱い方は心得ているつもりです。
だからこそ今回もお前に任せた。何も心配はしていない。
あら、できる上司は部下をその気にさせるのがお上手だこと。
ならば私の言葉が妥当だったということを自らの手で証明してみせろ。
はい、このカリンコリンにお任せください。
うん。では私はそろそろ執務に戻るとしよう。
あまりご無理はなさらずに。我が主が行くは波動。それが茨の道であるなら、このカリンコリンがトゲを積んでいくだけのこと。
Aquila. But yeah, like I said, I'm gonna end it here. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and see you next time. Bye bye. The fuck was that? Nothing. Lovely. See, I'm seeing things again. Oh well. Bye.